Located along the gorgeous Portuguese coastline, the Estoril circuit is evidence to the country's strong motorsports history. But today, the circuit may have lost some of its former glory, no longer hosting the biggest motorsport events, but its legacy still lives on every corner. The original circuit concept started with an uneven oval track of approximately 2.7 km in length and on a fairly small plot of land. The start-finish line and the pits are located on nearly 1 km long straightaway. Its original perimeter was 4.35 km and the maximum gradient was about 7%. The circuit, which opened in June 1972, was hindered by political unrest and economic uncertainty from the start. It took until 1975 for an international event to take place. In its early years, many national racing events were held, as well as an occasional European F2 championship. In 1977, the World Sports Car Championship also conducted around there. But the event was poorly supported because of the ownership corporation was taken over by the state between 1975 and 1978, and the circuit immediately lost popularity. But after a while, it regained popularity in the 1980s, thanks to sponsorship from the Automobile Club of Portugal. After becoming the head of the Automobile Club of Portugal, former rally driver Cesar Torres campaigned for an F1 Grand Prix, mentioning the economic benefits for local tourism. But the circuit required major redevelopment effort before international motorsports event returned in 1984. After major redevelopment was completed, Estoril was granted the final round of the F1 Championship in 1984. Race promoters were undoubtedly pleased to hear that it would also be the title deciding race. Estoril became a popular event on the F1 calendar. In the first race at this circuit, or the final race of the 1984 season, Frenchman Alain Prost won in McLaren, but his teammate Niki Lauda finished in second position and took his third World Championship title by half a point. In a very wet 1985 race, the crowd saw future three-time world champion Ayrton Senna take his first victory. During the 1989 race, Nigel Mansell was black flagged for reserving in the pit lane. But at the start of lap 48, even when the black flag was being waved at him, Mansell tried to overtake Senna, but the cars were collided and both drivers were out. During interview, he said he didn't see it.
Apparently was black flagged. I did not see any flag. I was competing for second place. It's as simple as that. If they believe honestly I saw it and ignored it, I will have to consider retiring sooner rather than later from Formula One.
Nonetheless, F1 continued its annual trip to the Portuguese coast throughout the 1990s. The calls for better facilities kept coming and kept being ignored. Throughout the year, Estoril had multiple issues with safety, failing safety inspections on more than one occasion because of slowness in improving safety standards in the 90s. Thus, the circuit lost its reputation and most of major motorsports events. In 1997, FIA called the circuit's bluff and canceled the Grand Prix. Estoril circuit was removed from the F1 calendar for the 1997 season, but it continued to host top-level sports car events such as the FIA GT Championship and Renault's World Series. Portugal's economy minister at that time, Augusto Mateus, immediately announced that the government would finance the $6 million required for the work. But unfortunately, construction work was delayed. To speed up the construction, Estoril was taken into majority state ownership in 1998, but the reconfigured circuit didn't open until 1999. In 2000, prior to the MotoGP event at the Estoril circuit, the course was inspected by the FIM to ensure the track met safety and technical standards. So, on 3rd September 2000, the Autódromo do Estoril hosted its first motorcycle Grand Prix. Eventually, the state finally took ownership of the facilities in 2002. More improvements were made to increase rider safety in 2007, and the circuit hosted Super League Formula Series events in 2008 and 2009. However, when the global financial crisis hit Portugal in 2008, the government-owned facility was unable to pay the sanction fees for MotoGP, and the race was quietly dropped from the schedule. As a result, MotoGP series left Estoril circuit after 2012 season. Meanwhile, in 2020, the Estoril circuit was renamed to Autódromo Fernanda Pires da Silva. The change was made to honor her important role in promoting and supporting the sport in the country and her family's contribution to the circuit. Today, Estoril circuit is nearly forgotten, especially when Portimao circuit opened in 2008. It replaced Estoril as the premier racing circuit in Portugal, but its legacy still lives on every corner.